what happens in the body when perimenopause takes place and what happens psychologically? Like what why do we get anxious? Why do I get why do I have random heart palpitations and anxiety? That's really what I'm getting at.
All the $64,000 questions. So we'll break it down a little bit. So just first defining perimenopause, what is it? Perimenopause or the transition to menopause is when our regular reproductive hormones and cycles start to become more irregular. So normally we have this typically like in when everything's functioning sort of normally by the textbook, we have these monthly cycles that are very predictable in terms of their rise and fall of mostly estrogen and progesterones. And as we age, that starts to fluctuate and become very unpredictable. And that's what perimenopause is. Menopause is the day after which you have not had a period for 12 months. So everything before that is premenopause, everything after that is postmenopause. But the shift from having regular hormonal fluctuations to having irregular hormonal fluctuations to not having a period is called perimenopause. And that can last for like 7 to 10 years. And the average age of menopause is, I know it's forever. It's a really long
Like
time.
what a freaking cruel trope. I mean, it's
Yeah,
the same length of time that puberty lasts for our kids, and it happens at the
exactly.
exact same time in our parenting life too.
That's right.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like a
not
puberty.
nice. That's not
No,
nice.
It's unpuberty. It's the opposite. It's
the
like
Sam, I'm
opposite.
really unhappy that you just drew that connection of those timelines because I really don't like that
well,
right
I
now.
because you're not living it yet. Like it's anyone who's living it knows the connection. That wasn't an aha moment for anyone who's in the thick of it. Like
I'm not there yet, and I think I'm going to stay in my naive little world of not being there yet.
so,
It's
so
good to be prepared.
what happens? Okay, so like progesterone. First of all, what do progesterone and estrogen do for us? Like, why do we need them? Why do we like
Great. Yeah, great question. Estrogen and progesterone do a lot. So we can't possibly talk about all the things that they do right now, but in terms of mood and how they affect what's going on in the transition to menopause, estrogen and progesterone act throughout the whole body. So they're not just acting on the reproductive organs and the reproductive cycle. They're very active in the brain. And they're also very protective of mood and sleep. And estrogen also regulates temperature too. So that's kind of like your typical sort of hot flash story of perimenopause is all mediated by estrogen. And so when the levels start to fall or fluctuate, that's why we get hot flashes and night sweats. Um, in terms of mood, estrogen helps to regulate mood and to keep the mood stable and to keep people relatively happy and feeling well. And so when the estrogen drops, that can lead to a lot of depressive symptoms.
that? Okay.
Progesterone is kind of the calming hormone, so it acts in the same parts of the brain that a lot of medications do to keep people calm and less anxious. So when progesterone drops, then that's when we start to see trouble sleeping and feeling more anxious and more irritable.
There's your answer,
There
Sam.
it is. It's a progesterone problem, but it's also an estrogen problem. I just didn't disclose that on air or earlier in the conversation. It's both.
Yeah, it's both. It's both. And then there's also testosterone, which gives us energy and does a lot of other things too. And that's really important. Also, we don't tend to think of testosterone a lot in women, but testosterone is a precursor for estrogen and it does a lot of other things too. And that's also fluctuating and sometimes dropping very low. And so all of those changes can really affect our energy levels, our sleep quality, our moods, our anxiety levels, the cognition too, our thinking. And so you hear a lot of women in the transition to menopause talking about brain fog or word finding difficulty, like simple words you can't think of, right?